name is Swami Kripalu. To his followers, he is affectionately known as Babaji. Babaji is one of the greatest living masters of yoga in the world today. His story provides a remarkable example of how an ordinary human being can transform his life through spiritual practices. He often teaches through simple parables that contain great truth. In India, where Babaji has spent most of his life, he has attracted thousands of followers. On special occasions, they gather from all over the world to listen to his message of eternal truth. It is a message of love, arising from his own spiritual struggles. It is a message which inspires and transforms others, because it is based on Babaji's direct personal experience. It comes from a lifetime spent in search of God.
નિમિત્ત જ બનવાનું છે, કાર્ય થઈ જશે. મારા મનમાં ભગવાન બ્રહ્મેશ્વર
For the past 30 years, Babaji has spent 10 hours a day in meditation. In deep meditative states, Babaji often does spontaneous chanting and dance-like movements called mudras. These gestures are visible evidence of the intensified life energy working within his body.
Om Didi Garvala Sware Nantadu.
Babaji's life began in a small village in western India, north of Bombay. From early childhood, spiritual practices were an important part of his family life. His father died when he was 7, and the family went through a period of great financial hardship. At the age of 18, he left his village and came to the huge, teeming city of Bombay. As a young man of high spiritual ideals, he soon became disillusioned by the greed and suffering he saw around him. He felt life had no purpose. In despair, he made plans to commit suicide. As his last act before taking his life, he went to his favorite temple to pray. Babaji was sobbing so hard that he scarcely noticed an old holy man approach him. "My son, do not take your life." Babaji was astonished, for he had told no one of his plan. This man was to become the most compelling force in Babaji's life. His name was Dadaji. For over a year, Babaji stayed with this great teacher and learned the disciplines of yoga. With these tools and with Dadaji's encouragement, Babaji began the long path of self-realization. He could not know that these practices would transform an ordinary body and mind into the enlightened state of a great yogi. One day, Dadaji mysteriously told Babaji that at some time in the future, he would learn his guru's true identity. Shortly thereafter, Dadaji disappeared without a trace. Without Dadaji, Babaji felt that he had lost the most complete love he had ever known. For the next 10 years, he went back into the world where he taught music, wrote drama for a repertory company, and helped run a school. At the age of 31, Babaji again felt the futility of worldly affairs. He decided to become a Swami and was initiated by an old monk named Swami Shantananji. In becoming a Swami, Babaji renounced all worldly possessions. However, he committed himself to return to the world, this time as a spiritual teacher. With nothing more than the clothes on his back and a small pot for carrying drinking water, he wandered from village to village, teaching the ancient Vedic texts. Often the entire village would come to hear him speak, entranced by his message of love. Many of those who were attracted to him eventually became his disciples. At this time, Babaji's practices of yoga postures, breath control, and meditation led to the bodily awakening of the energy called Kundalini. This evolutionary energy lies dormant within everyone, and in certain individuals it is awakened by advanced yogic practices. Under the power of this energy, Babaji began to experience spontaneous posture flows and other dance-like mudras. These movements purified and energized his body at an accelerated rate. He was soon spending 10 hours a day in meditation, a practice he has continued every day of his life. His state of inner peace and bliss became apparent to all around him. Twice during this period of his life, his guru Dadaji appeared briefly to him in a vision. Deeply affected by these experiences, Babaji withdrew into silence, communicating only by gestures and by writing on a slate. For 12 years, he maintained a discipline of total silence, directing his whole being towards union with God. In 1955, Babaji was invited to visit the holy shrine of Kayavarohan. On a tour of the village, he was shown an ancient statue that had been buried in a farmer's field. Babaji was stunned, for he recognized in the statue an unmistakable likeness of his guru Dadaji. That evening, Babaji entered into a deeper state of meditation than ever before. Dadaji appeared before him and revealed his true identity as an incarnation of the Hindu god Shiva. He then directed Babaji to build a temple and to restore Kayavarohan as a spiritual center for India and the world. Babaji had no money or possessions, and the people of the area were very poor. How could he possibly build a beautiful temple? Nevertheless, he began the project with selfless love and dedication. The project took 19 years to complete. In 1974, the temple was dedicated to Dadaji and the path of eternal truth. The temple was to be a home for the ancient statue which had been buried for almost 2,000 years. In a sacred ceremony, the statue was installed in the newly completed temple. In 1977, Babaji agreed to visit America in response to the many requests from his North American disciples. His arrival in America brought him to a home that already carried his name, the Kripalu Yoga Retreat in Pennsylvania. In America, Babaji continues the same disciplined routine of daily practices that he did for over 25 years in India. His day begins before dawn with hours of meditation. When meditating, he enters a state of consciousness that completely transcends the ordinary limits of the mind. After his meditation, Babaji sets aside several hours for writing. A brilliant scholar, he has written numerous books on the science of yoga and on Indian classical music. Babaji eats alone and in silence, according to the Brahmin tradition. Part of every day in Babaji's life is given to teaching his close disciples. As Dadaji once did with him, he takes great care to pass on to others his deep understanding of the yogic scriptures.
There are two times Babaji gives darshans to us. Morning about 10:30 and in the evening towards 3 o'clock.
ભગવાન શ્રી કૃષ્ણચંદ્ર કહ્યું છે કે સર્વ ધર્માન પરિત્યજ્ય મામેકમ શરણમ વ્રજ અહમ ત્વા સર્વ પાપેભ્યો મોક્ષયિષ્યામિ મા શુચઃ.
Lord Krishna says to Arjuna,
ભગવાન કહે છે
release your attachments to all actions, both good and bad.
ધર્મનો પરિત્યાગ કર.
If you will surrender to me with your whole heart, I will lift you from the results of all your good and bad deeds. I'll free you from your karma.
આશ્ચર્ય થાય કે પુણ્યને છોડવાનું કેમ કહે છે, ધર્મને છોડવાનું કેમ કહે છે. ધર્મ ન છૂટવો જોઈએ. જો કે એક વાત છે કે ખરો ધર્મ છૂટતો જ નથી.
We are all in this world on a mission. We have to do satkarma or good deeds, but then we have to go beyond that too. When we surrender the results of our actions, we act from the center of peace within. Then we achieve liberation.
પ્રભુનો પરિવાર તે આપણું સાચું કુટુંબ છે.
Our family of the world is very vast. To learn to love this vast family, we must first learn to practice love in each of our own individual families. When our own love expands and becomes vast enough to encompass the whole world, we will then be able to love everyone. Until this love becomes the very aim of our life, we are living in darkness.
2 or 3 times a year, Babaji comes out of seclusion to speak to the ashram residents and guests. On these occasions, the residents dress in white in respect for their teacher.
અવશ્ય તે પ્રકારોનો તો ધ્યાનપૂર્વક અવલોકન કરજે.
He did not like the arrival of the newcomers. He came down from the branch of the tree and stuttered, "How boldly towards the group of swans. Then he stood steadily and gazed at each swan from the head to tail. And soon after he asked in an unfriendly tone, "Where do you all come from?"
Bapuji's love for drama and storytelling brings each moment alive. This particular story is about a swan and a very critical crow who thinks he is a great teacher. When the swan and the crow go flying together, the crow soon learns a lesson in humility. Bapuji's spiritual practices continue in ongoing meditation for 10 hours a day. His search for ultimate realization of the higher self is a source of inspiration for all those who seek transformation and inner peace.
ज्ञानाग्नि दग्ध कर्माणं तमाहु पंडितं बुधाः.
He whose every undertaking is free from worldly desires and whose actions are burned up by the fire of wisdom, him the wise call the learned one.
The path of love is very ancient. When I was born, I received an initiation of love. And now with the same love, I initiate everyone else. Love is my only path. I'm a pilgrim on the path of love.